Now this is my jam. 1/6 scale figures from the worlds of Star Wars and Marvel and DC. And to see all of these from the history of Sideshow, it's just so cool. There's something about a 12-inch character and the cut and sew, the posability of 6 scale that just makes it so fun to photograph and to pose and not just have sitting on a shelf. And we're about to check out the newest ones from their partners at Hot Toys for 2020, some convention exclusives. Let's go take a look. So Amy, at typically a San Diego Comic-Con, at your booth, you would be unveiling new stuff from your partner Hot Toys,
yes.
And you're doing the same thing here at Sideshow Con. Tell me about the convention exclusives for this year.
Yes, so we were so privileged that Hot Toys was able to send their prototypes and the convention exclusives to us so that we could show them off at this booth. We do have 3 of the 4 convention summer exclusives on display. We have the Iron Man Mark IV holographic edition. There is the Whiplash 6-scale figure from Iron Man 2. And then the last convention exclusive is the Spider-Man 2099 black suit from Marvel's Spider-Man.
Wow, and they all kind of represent a different take that Hot Toys is doing. You know, one is a movie-accurate version of Whiplash, of the racetrack scene.
Yes.
And then Spider-Man 2099, they've been doing a lot of different Spider-Man. What's interesting is that the poses you can do with this. Can you tell me about the cut and sew here?
Well, Hot Toys has been doing an amazing job with all of these from the Marvel Gamerverse. This is, of course, based on Marvel's Spider-Man, the hit video game. They have been doing an amazing job, intricate cut and sew on these costumes, lots of little details. And I think the best part is that fans who have been clamoring for comic book versions of Spider-Man, they get a treat with all the different suits that have been featured both in the game and as classic comic books suits. So 2099, I think, is a huge one for fans to get. I don't know how close you can get to it, but with the detail, so many different textured panels. There's different materials based on where he would need more movement in a realistic superhero suit situation. There are sculpted armor bits, especially for 2099's kind of logo and the red elements on his suit. These are so highly posable. I got my hands on the punk suit, and the poses you can do with these are just as acrobatic as you can perform in the video game. The classic suit is a premiere item as well. A lot of fans have been requesting just a classic suit Spider-Man, and because the game features one, Hot Toys has delivered on that. Classic red and blue, of course. These all come with, of course, web-slinging hands, numbers of different web accessories, and just everything that you would want to do a classic Spider-Man flip or web swing or 3-point pose on the ground. And they do come with dynamic stands as well, so you can support your crazy and imaginative poses with a stand that bends and holds them aloft to compensate for that.
And of course, the armored Spider-Man, which on its face, the same color palette as your classic, but it's really that different texture material to make it look like it's structurally different.
Yeah, and it has that kind of glossier feel, and especially the red elements feel that they are more padded and protected. This is a Spider-Man who needs a little extra support on the job. And Hot Toys has sent us the special LED light that also reveals the reflective patterns that kind of give the armored Spider-Man a holographic or kind of technological feel, revealing a hexagonal pattern throughout the costume. And so that's a really unique display element that collectors can enjoy with their piece as well.
And it's interesting because the source material here is the video game assets. And so they're interpreting something that was digital into the real world as a collectible figure.
It really gives you that sense of the in-game HUD where he is choosing his suit upgrades and everything like that.
Now, I also can't believe it's been over a year since Endgame came out, and I know they've been releasing, Hot Toys has been releasing the Endgame figures. I love this Thanos here. I know it's 6 scale, but it almost looks quarter scale at how big this is.
Yeah.
This is the battle damage variant?
Yes, this is the battle damage version of Thanos. He is available for pre-order on our website. And like you were saying, it's one of those things where you hear the word 6 scale and you have this idea of what that scale means. But on a character like Thanos, that is going to be a substantial size difference with the rest of your heroes. And we do have him on display here with an Iron Man and the new Endgame Captain Marvel for that sense of scale.
Wow, and you have, of course, the gauntlet, the nano gauntlet.
Yes, the battle damage is all over this thing. Of course, his beautiful gold and black suit. I really love the kind of chromatic burn details on his shoulder pads as well. The nano gauntlet that he has is, of course, damaged and devoid of all stones because Iron Man did manage to get the drop on him, and he does have some cool bruise and cut elements with that kind of dark red purple blood that the Titan bleeds.
The only thing that you don't have is the helmet, which I think is part of the package.
Yes, there is a helmeted portrait, but we do have him on display, kind of ready to take back what is his. But of course, we know how that ends.
From the world of Marvel to Star Wars, this is the first time I'm seeing the 6-scale Mandalorian with the Child.
Yes, this is the deluxe edition. This is the first time people are getting to see it in person, apart from the pictures on our website. The deluxe edition comes with 2 different versions of the Child, and so you can see that we have him in the hovering pram configuration with a special body that has the Child kind of propped up and ready for adventure, looking out at the big wide world. And they do have that kind of complementary base piece. The hover pram adds on to the sands of the desert that the Mandalorian is walking through.
And this is the one with the full Beskar armor. So
Yes.
he's been upgraded. He has all that shiny shoulder pad, the chest armor. It's a little cleaner, less weathered than the first version, even though you see, the dirt of Tatooine on his boots.
Yes, of course. He does have some of that wear and tear that is consistent with the bounty hunting profession, but his shining Beskar really kind of emphasizes where he is at this point in the story. It is a mixed media sculpt as well, because they do, Hot Toys always does incredible costume fabrication, his long cape over armored pieces like the jetpack and the rangefinder helmet.
Yeah, speaking of costume fabrication, you have some new Star Wars ones. You have Boba Fett. This is the vintage color version. And I see
Yes.
new also Luke in X-Wing. The cut and sew here is fantastic.
Yes, Hot Toys always does an amazing job, and these are kind of the premier resources for cosplayers as well. If people really want to see how something looked on screen, but you only got flashes of it, these are the kind of ultimate representation, because Hot Toys always tries to keep that fidelity to every aspect of what the filmmakers put on screen. So this is a brand new premiere piece. It is the prototype currently pending licensor approval, but this is Hot Toys' first version of the Luke Skywalker as an X-Wing pilot. He is in kind of a snowspeeder environment. You can see that he has a Hoth base, and he has pieces of his ship and his lightsaber, of course, as he is ready to kind of go out. I imagine he's back from fighting the Wampa. Again, he's got all the elements of an X-Wing pilot. Really detailed, really exciting release for fans of the original trilogy.
I love the accessories, the things that you can put in Luke's hands, just telling you where in the movie he is. Also, the different bases. Hot Toys has done a great job of bringing those worlds into just the way you display them, and also the way that they're mounted, even the kind of body grip stand.
Yes, the bases always should accentuate the story, but never detract from the figure. And Hot Toys does an exceptional job of bringing those environments so you know exactly where this character might be, which helps you inform your poses. And then there are the kind of cradle grips that help the standing poses, and then the dynamic grips for the flying poses, because there's a lot of flying in Star Wars. So we do have the premiere of some exciting Clone Wars pieces. So earlier this year, Hot Toys did announce that they had the license for 6-scale Clone Wars based on the animated series, but of course in Hot Toys' realistic style. So we do see Captain Rex in the center, and he released on our website earlier this year. He is available for pre-order. A lot of fanfare to that one, and he does have an unhelmeted sculpt. But new for the show are the prototypes of Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker as realistic, incredible likenesses of Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen, but based on their Clone Wars era costumes. So there's a really nice meld of the animated style and then a movie version of these characters, which I think this is proof of concept that we could have a live action Clone Wars movie. It would be a dream. But again, you can see the elements of the cut and sew, the different materials used for their tabards and their armor pieces. They both have their lightsabers, and Obi-Wan Kenobi is also displaying a hologram attachment accessory, receiving a transmission during the Clone Wars. So I think these are really cool pieces. I think collectors are going to be really excited about being able to add these versions of some of their favorite prequels characters to their collection.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Amy.
Yeah, of course.